I welcome you to this very first C++ programming session, and this today's session we are going to discuss practically the structure of C++ object oriented programming features, as well as if you are very beginner in programming, then what are the steps to learn C++. So the first intro is C++ is a object oriented programming language, and this programming language invented in the year of 1979 by Bjarne Stroustrup. So before C++, you also know that 1972 Dennis Ritchie invented C language. C language is a general purpose programming language. So basically the structure you can see in C programming, you first include the header files stdio.h, and some compiler we also include conio.h. There are many header files, string.h, math.h, so many header files, and we also write a function used to create collection of instructions. So once you complete the code, compile, and then you run program. So this process is actually what the instruction sets, they are in a human understandable code, and you need to convert this code to machine readable format. The extension of this type of file is .c, and after compilation the code convert to machine readable code, that is called object file. Next thing is the execution. So execution, it is run program from the memory space. The interpreter help you to execute the program, and finally you got the output as a application file.exe file. Now what is in C++? In C++ programming also we do the same. C++ programming, first we include header file called iostream. The header file is just different, and this is the header file. Next we write a function. Here is a main function, and in main function we collect instructions. So the only header file is not a change. Lot of changes between C and C++, and here is the first change, that is structure. You can see the header file is iostream.h. So basically header files, they provide you many functions, but in C++ header files provide you many namespaces as well as the classes. So namespace means you create a group of many classes, and class means it is a heterogeneous collection. You create grouping of many variables as well as functions. So you create an entity. Let's say I want a record of different vehicles. So as a vehicle, you can see we need details as a vehicle we need details as vehicle number, as well as vehicle name, as well as the vehicle color, as well as some fuel capacity, and as well as some price for that vehicle. If you consider any another entity called employee, so for employee we consider employee code, employee name, salary, department name. So these are the fields, maybe the joining date also. If you consider student, so for student the entity variables we consider student roll number. Okay, just say roll number, and then we give a name for the student as well as some semester percentage, semester 1 2 3, like this. Let's last one grade. So many entities we create, like student, product, player, they also entities. Now these all the entities we convert into class. So let's say class is called vehicle. So in class vehicle we create some variables like integer type what vehicle number, another is the character vehicle name, next is fuel capacity, color, they are also attributes. So I declare one another variable character color. Okay, and here is the one next one called as a fuel capacity, it is in type float, fuel capacity. Next is a price, so float price. But see, only creating variables is not enough in a class. So we are discussing this object oriented programming. So here is a one very best feature that is called as a encapsulation. Encapsulation means you here protect the uh, privacy of the variables. Let's say I make the visibility of these all the declarations throughout the program. So you write here a keyword called public. Okay, some variables, let's say I not want to allow user to perform the write and read operation. So you can write such variables private. So after the line private, all declarations they considered as a private. So there are many different access modifier keywords. You can see the public is a keyword, private is a keyword, protected there is one another keyword protected. So you create a scope of that variables. Consider you working on a banking application, so you create user accounts or not. So while creating user account, there you declare variable account number, there you declare variable balance, okay, account type, password. So password variable, I not want to allow user to perform the write and read operation. I just want to use that attribute for my own calculation and conditional checking purpose. So such variables you declare as a private. In C++ programming, one another feature we can implement that is called as a inheritance. The inheritance means you can extend the class properties, extend the functions. Okay, you can see vehicle is a class, right? So in this vehicle class, if I write class as BMW, so BMW is a car, BMW is a vehicle. So in this BMW class, I define some functions like set color, set fuel capacity, set uh, color, set price. All these variables we declare inside the class. So BMW is a one another class which extends vehicle. So this is a relation between two classes as a BMW and the vehicle. Like this you can consider, if I create employee class as well as department class, if I create a student class as well as first year student, second year student, third year student, there are more classes. Okay, you create some relation between the classes, extend some more properties, add some more features, depends on a class type. So this is what object oriented model. Okay, so don't worry, this is the first day, so we are not going to code like creating class or object, just it is the discussion. And I hope you understood this flow of learning C++ programming. So what if you are very beginner? So of course you need to first learn some fundamentals like you learn the syntax, why header files, why main function, what is compilation, what is interpreter. But if you know some beginning knowledge, then it's very good. You can continue with the looping, some logical condition checking, like you learn some looping patterns as well as you learn array, you learn functions, and most importantly you must know pointer as well. Okay, there you will learn memory allocation, and then you can learn one another topic called structure. So you're able to create a object of entities. So this is a prerequisite to learn C++ programming. Now what if you know already everything in C programming? So you can go for C++ from very basic. Some first 5-7 days you first do some C programming code exactly as it is using C++ programming. Another, the next some days you try to learn class object, constructors, as well as passing object to function, some object manipulation code in C++. Four main pillars. The first one is a class and object, of course. Second one is the encapsulation. So encapsulation I just here discussed with you the public and private keywords. So the uh, hiding the access of variables throughout the class or outside the class or inside the class, that process is called as encapsulation. Third one part is inheritance, and fourth one is the polymorphism and abstraction. After that, if you need some advanced concepts, then you learn the exception handling as well as uh, the types of arguments in a function, okay, as well as templates, the vector. Even more than that, there are many topics like a stack, a queue, tree, graph, hash sort. So all they are the data structure algorithms in very deep. You can take advantage of the programming languages C and C++. So of course This course we are going to continue with the C++ very basic. The first one code we try here, that is how to print hello world using C++. There are many compilers available. I am using devcpp, and there like compilers you can see on my screen. Eclipse is a compiler like this. You can use the DOSBox as well. There is a Visual Code as another compiler. So they are all compilers. Compilers help you to convert your code to the type machine readable form, as well as the editors, IDE softwares, the devcpp, the code blocks, or Eclipse or Visual Studio Code. All these IDE tools, they help you to type programs fast, because their intelligence properties, they suggest you the coding patterns, some snippets. I'm using this one, dev C++. I send you the links to download these all the tools, so you can easily install on your system. Now here is the first one code. I like to start with how to print the greeting message hello world. Write a program to print hello world using C++ code. Using C++ code. So first we type what? Hash include std, not stdio, we are now in C++, right? So we type iostream. Now remember, in dev C++, you type the code as only iostream. Here we not type the .h extension, just we type what? iostream. The next is main function. Here I type main function, and the next part, here we continue the code. Now while we type function, sometime we type void, some cases we type int, okay, maybe float, maybe any type character, maybe you forgot to write the return type. Now basically the function returns values, but if you not want to return, then you write the void. Now why to return, when to return? Maybe if you know, if you don't know what is return value or how return keyword word works, then in 2 minutes we just discuss what is return type. There are many keywords, they help you to response the function when we do any task inside the function. Like here is a one function called calculate area. This function accept radius from you, and area of calculation we do, like area is equal to, area circle is equal to 3.14 multiplied by radius square. This is my calculation. So the next part is here, I want to exit the function, so I just type return. This means is, after the return keyword, if you write anything, it will not work, because you exit from the line number 9. Okay, so if you want to response answer from the function, you can write area of circle. The meaning is, the area of circle is a response from the function calculate area. Now what is the type of area of circle? It is a float. But what if I not want to return? Let's say I comment this line, I not want to return. So don't worry, you can write just void. But what if I forgot to write? The default integer, the default return type of function is integer. If you forgot, it defaultly returns 0 because of integer. So here the same case we follow. Main is a function, and before this function name we type what? Before this function name we type float. So float is a return type. Can I type int? Yes. Can I type void? Yes. I suggest you type integer. Okay, in C++ the return type you give integer, and instead of return anything, you can return a 0. We don't have any instruction set, we don't have any variables like area circle, but just we return a 0, and this is my function. Now how to output hello world? In C language, you remember printf is a function or not? Printf function output on a screen. So in C++ also, here is a one object called cout. So like these classes, vehicle, employee, student, they are the classes. Similarly, in C++ also, some built-in classes to perform input and output. So in C++, iStream is a class. and this iStream class provided some functions using object called scene, and OStream is one another class which provided the object called cout. But what is object? I explain you using this vehicle class. Now this vehicle class, I want to create a record of vehicle class. To reserve the memory for vehicle, you follow the syntax like vehicle v1. So v1 is a just reference, and v1 reserves some memory space to store the records of vehicle number, vehicle name, color, fuel capacity, and the price. So this is called as an object. Object is a reference to the instance of a class. Now here is a cout is a object, scene is a object. So here I am using cout. So cout is what? It is an object. I just use these angle brackets. Instead you can say it is a bitwise left shift operator, and I type hello world. So is it a bracket? No. Operator. This is left shift bitwise operator. So don't close like this. And this is done. I save this code. So I open my folder here, C++ programming. I here created already one folder called batch 21, and there I save this program with name program. Actually it is the first program, so I save like uh, basic program 1.cpp. This is my first program. Save. So program is ready. Now my next step is I want to execute this code, hello world. How to execute this program? You can see the option compile and another option run. So if I click compile, here it is one error. Cout was not declared in this scope. I told the header file provide functions. In C++, header files provide you namespaces, classes, and inside class we have functions. So here you can follow the syntax as std, these double colons, cout. What is std? Std is a name of namespace. So I clear that namespace you consider like a folder. If you consider a folder called songs, and in that songs folder you keep some songs. Let's say there you keep some Hindi songs, some English songs, okay, some Marathi songs, some songs. I want to access the Hindi songs. So songs is called as a one namespace. And if you include the songs and if you access the another Hindi songs, so here I call songs is a namespace. We'll briefly discuss about namespace, but right now you consider namespace is like a one folder, and inside of the folder you given some classes. So I type using namespace std like this, and I type only cout hello world. Otherwise if I remove this line, I need to type std scope resolution. This is called scope resolution cout. So this is the syntax to execute the code. Now I compile here, and now it is successful. Just you can see the errors are 0, warnings are 0. If I click run, my output is hello world. So this is my first program in C++. I close this, and here I can show you. If you type using namespace std, and if you just type cout, the meaning is same. I save this code, compile, and click run. Done. Hello world. Like this. I close here. I want to see some more lines. Let's say the new file, control N. The line is write a program to print your name, education, and city, your location. So I type hash include iostream once again, my main function, then I told return 0. Next here you type using namespace std. How to output the result we call this cout, and then I type name is equal to, I just type name, again another cout, I type education is equal to, I type education, and then I type city, so I type here city. Then I save this code. This is my another program called program2, and remember to type extension .c++.cpp. Press enter. This is my another program. Click save, and now if you click compile, you can see the name, education, and city. I want to see these lines, new lines, so here also I can type /n, like C language you type /n, in C++ also you can type /n. I compile and then I click here run. Now this is my very first program, another C++ program to print name, education, and city. I close this. Now instead /n in C++, you can use the manipulator. Instead /n, if you type int l, it will work. Int l, so it is a manipulator. Now you can see the same output once again. This is another output. Okay, this is another output. Let's say if I give you array, write a program to print array records. If I give you array hash include iostream, then I type main function and return a 0, and here is using namespace std. So let's say here is a roll number as an array of 5 values. Let's say roll numbers are 191, 192, 193, 194, and 195. Another one array I create, character student name. I want 5 student names. Each name may have max 20 characters. So I type some name. Let's say Rachna is a name. Tejaswini is another name. Suhani is third name. Here is one fourth student and another student. So I here created 2 different array variables. I want to just output these all the values. So in C++ also the same syntax. You follow looping syntax, same like you already done in C programming. I type for loop. I type integer I from 0 to 5, I plus plus, and here I type int l. So the meaning is break the line. On new line, I here access a variable called roll number, and in the box bracket I provide value I. So I stands index number. Roll number is a variable name. Defaultly variable I starts from 0 and 191 is at index 0. Here you will get output 191. I increments by 1, next time you will get 192. Again I increments by 1, next time you will get 193. I show you output. Save this code. This is my another program, program number 3.cpp, and here I click compile and then I click run. Now you can see they are the 5 values. So I want to print name. Just I continue again on the same line and I'm using /t. You know the meaning of /t. You can break some spaces, and now I type student name and the box bracket, again index number I. Then I save. Here I click compile and I'm clicking on option execute. So here you can see the all records. This is my tabular record I'm printing from array. Now if I give you one small task, write a program to print array records, So I give you array, you declare one variable called integer employee code, and the box bracket I type 5. I give you some records, let's say 81, 82, 85, 84 and 87. So they are the records. I also give you employee name as well. 5 records they are, and maybe max 20 characters in each employee name. And here I type some records. So employee name is Smith, Peter, then is Matthew, then is John, and then is uh, Rob. So they are 5 employees. Okay, now you just print these records like me, same to same. But one additional question for you, that is uh, print only employee codes sorted in ascending order. So you try printing employee codes sorted in ascending orders. Okay, you can try your best logic to write a loop and only print the employee code in ascending order. Okay, and the big question is, uh, which employee codes missing from between 81 and 87. So you print output as which employee codes missing between the range 81 and 87. If you find 81 is there, 82 is there, but 83 is not there. Okay, 84 is there, 85, 86 is also not there. So your output should be 83 and 86. So this is the very first session in C programming, C++ programming, and I hope you enjoyed this session, and the next session we'll do